So I promised to do a little video on seasonal wardrobe changeover, so here I am. And I thought I'd give you some top tips on how to store your clothes if you are going to put your sort of warmer clothes into storage. First of all, it's not essential to change your wardrobe over. It's a great way to save space if you're limited on space, or if you know that you're not going to wear your clothes for a good few months. I personally don't change my wardrobe over because I'm quite cold, not cold in heart, but cold in temperature person. So I tend to wear a lot of my jumpers in the summer over dresses if I get a bit chilly in the evening. And I like layering, so a lot of my summer clothes do get worn in the winter with tights and a jumper on top. So for me it's not so relevant, but I know a lot of people do put their winters into storage, and it, like I say, it can save you a lot of space and give your sort of summer clothes space to breathe. So few top tips. So number one is be selective. So if you're going to put things into storage, think really carefully about when the last time you wore it was. If you didn't wear it last season, are you going to wear it next season? Is the question. If you haven't worn it because it's a little bit out of shape, or maybe it's a bit bobbly, or you're not sure if you love it anymore, try and be really strict on yourself and think, are you going to wear it when you take it out of storage in 6 months' time? Chances are, if you didn't love it last winter, probably not going to love it next winter. So the other thing to think about is if it's a jumper and it's a bit bobbly and actually you keep putting it on and thinking, oh, I don't know, it's got these bubbles on it and it's looking a little bit worn, can you bring it back to life with a wool comb, take some of those bubbles off, and then love it again. So think about these things. If you're not going to wear them, give them to charity, resell them, or send them for recycling. Try not to store things that are going to come out of storage in 6 months' time and go back into your wardrobe and not get worn. So that's number one. Number two is items that you're putting into storage, make sure that you wash and dry them before you put them in storage. The reason for this is that moths really don't like clean clothes. They like clothes that have been worn, got a little bit of sort of sweat on. They'll thrive in that environment. So if you wash and dry everything before you put it into storage, you're just minimising that risk of moths getting to them. Also, by making sure they're completely dry, you are going to avoid them sort of coming out of storage with a slightly musty smell. So that is number two. Number three is the type of storage you're going to use to store your items. So this is really important. So certain more delicate items, you just need a little bit more thought into what you're storing them in. Most items can be stored in sort of airtight storage boxes, but your wool, your cashmere and your silk in particular would be better stored in cotton storage. The reason for this is because it's breathable and the fabric needs to breathe, and also moths are less likely to get to those clothes if they are stored in cotton. So there are a few ways that you can do this. The first thing is you can buy some purpose-built storage, which you can get from places like the White Company do some really great ones, as do Muji do some cotton and linen clothes storage boxes. But you don't have to spend money on purpose-built storage. You can, if you want, get an old pillowcase, and the clothes that you're going to store, just make sure they're folded and put inside a cotton pillowcase, and then you can store that pillowcase in another sort of breathable storage. So old suitcases are quite good, or IKEA do some not cotton but breathable storage boxes. So if you've got your garments wrapped in a cotton sort of outlayer, like a pillowcase, you can then put them into those other storage boxes, stack them and sort of store them like that. If you are using airtight boxes, or actually with any of the storage for your clothes, just make sure you don't pack them down too tightly. because this will risk damaging some of the items if they're really squashed for sort of a period of time. So you want to just lightly fold them and place them in and leave a gap at the top. And for jackets and coats, ideally they should be laid flat, but obviously I appreciate space isn't always possible, or you can leave them hanging in your wardrobe. If you're going to do that, I would suggest putting a dust cover over them, and again, ideally a cotton dust cover is the best option, again, because it just prevents, or is it just another layer of protection against moths getting to your lovely woolen coat. It's not what you want. So yeah, so that's number 3. So number 4, spoken a little bit about protection against moths. So to further protect your clothes from moths, I would recommend investing in some cedar balls or cedar blocks, which you can get from John Lewis, from Amazon, and put one of those in each of your storage boxes or bags. It will just further deter moths from getting to your clothes. I prefer using cedar. I think it's a little bit more effective, but you can also use lavender sachets as well. Some people swear by those. And they're also a more natural way of deterring against moths. There are some chemical products that you can buy, but it's just obviously just think carefully before you put anything that's got chemicals on near your clothes. So I'll just show you what we want to avoid, basically. So this is one of my jumpers that I absolutely love, but in a previous house we had a bit of a moth attack in the wardrobe, and as you can see, it's got moth holes on the sleeves and the arms. So yeah, so I love it. So I still wear it and I turn the sleeves up, but this is what you want to avoid, because once they have got to your clothes and they lay eggs, it's really hard to get rid. It's really hard to get rid of them. So yeah, anything you can do to avoid ruining some of your much loved clothes, I recommend doing. So number 5 is where to store your items. So once you've got everything packed up in the relevant storage, just think carefully about where you're going to store them. So ideally you want your items to be stored somewhere cool and dry, so not in direct sunlight, but also you don't want it to be anywhere damp. So if you're getting sort of suitcases from the garage or from your loft, just be mindful, if it's a bit of a damp environment, it's not somewhere you want to be storing your clothes. So just think about that when you are putting things away for a period of time. And just one final top tip is when you get some jewellery or a bag or shoes and it comes in a dust bag, if you're not going to use it to store the item in, don't throw it away, especially if it's cotton. So I tend to use these. So I bought a bag, came in this, and this is cotton. So I will use this to store, I've got some silk tops, and even if I'm not storing them away for the season, even in my drawer, I tend to put them in one of these bags and put it in my drawer if it's an item that's quite delicate. 2 reasons. First of all, it stops the moths or insects getting to them, and secondly, it just keeps it a bit better protected, really, especially if it's got sequins on or something that could get damaged when you take things in and out of your drawer. And you can put a label on this bag if you want, so you know what it is in your drawer. So yeah, these are handy, especially if they're cotton, so don't throw them away. So I hope you found the video useful, and there were some tips in there that you can take away when you're doing your seasonal wardrobe changeover. I will put a post on my grid with a link to some of the products that I've mentioned, and thank you for watching.